Colossians 2:16-17 is one of the strongest arguments that people use against having to keep the Sabbath today, and in this video I'm going to explain why their interpretation of this passage is not correct, and why it's actually mistranslated in several versions of the Bible, including the KJV. So just reading it, it says, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ." So right off the bat, it sounds like it's saying Paul is just giving you a long list of things that you don't have to judge anyone on, because they're just a shadow in the bodies of Christ. But really, I'll show that this isn't the case. So first of all, looking at the word shadow and seeing where it appears in other instances in Scripture, you'll see an association start to build. So Hebrews 8 here, "For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things." So offering and gifts is associated with shadow here. And here's another one. "For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the corners thereunto perfect." So when it's talking about shadow, it also talks about the offerings and the sacrifices in the same passage. So that's really what I'm trying to say here. It's not saying to let no one judge you on the days themselves, but let no one judge you on the offerings given on those days. And that's not apparently very obvious right away, because it says meat and or drink, but this is really referring to the sacrifices. And we can see this in Hebrew chapter 9 here, which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience, which stood only in meats and in drinks, and in divers washings and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of reformation. So these meats and drinks, that's just another way of referring to the offerings that were given in Numbers chapters 28 and 29. Like, there's a whole list of stuff in Numbers 28, 29 that were referring to the things given on these days. So the meat and drink is referring to the offerings. So really, this should be saying, "Let no one judge you in the meat or in drink offerings given on these days." And it might not exactly look like that, because the ors, there's a bunch of them, and it makes it seem like it's just a long list of things that you're not supposed to judge people on. But I'll show that this or right here, that's supposed to say and then this or right here, that's supposed to say either. So looking at the interlinear, so the Greek text here, first you can see that there's a chi between the food and the drink. So really, chis, those are supposed to be ands. They're not ors, but the translators didn't like that, so they did an or anyway. And then this or here with this eta, you can see that there's a series of 3 etas in a row. And when you have 3 etas in a row, eta, 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 it's supposed to be either or. And you can see this in 1 Corinthians 14:6 for an example. This guy made a video on it. He didn't make the same associations about the meat and drink part, but he explains this grammar thing pretty well if you want to go check him out. But looking at 1 Corinthians 14:6, this is how it should be read when you have a series of etas. "Now, brethren, if I come unto you speaking with tongues, what shall I profit you, except I shall speak to you either by revelation, or by knowledge, or by prophesying, or by doctrine?" So you have a series, either, or. And this is exactly what the Greek text is supposed to read, because you have an eta, either, eta or, eta or, eta or. Now for some reason, and we really know why, the Greek translators didn't decide to do that here. They did eta or, eta or, eta or, when really it should be eta either, or. So really, what Colossians 2:16 should read is, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat and drink offerings, either in respect of an holy day, or of the new moons, or of the Sabbath days, because they are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ. He was our sacrifice and our offering." So we don't have to worry about the sacrifice and offerings on these days anymore, but we still do have to keep the days themselves. Not the holy days and the new moons, because those can only be done in the Holy Land, and maybe I'll make a video on that. But the Sabbath we still do have to keep. We just don't have to worry about any special sacrifices or offerings on that day.